Seems to be one of those days. There clearly is evil in this world. Now, I am a Christian. I would utterly try to add to the balance on the side of good and not add to, hopefully, even in small ways, the lesser side. Not as strong as evil, perhaps, but just... And, of course, one falls short of perfection. Well, then you apologize. But on larger matters, what's the point of just talking about it? Recognize it? I don't know. Old Radio 4 is such good value for money. It's free. And they just had something called the Media Show from 4:30 till 5 p.m. And John Simpson was one of the contributors, so he's very much a senior foreign world correspondent for the BBC. So one respects him and the fact that he's reported, and just in his sort of closing statement, he was being very clear that as a reporter of matters, he is reporting them. He's not, as it were, taking sides or campaigning that people should object to this thing or that thing in a political way. He is presenting the picture of whatever it is that he's reporting upon, allowing us, people throughout the world, to make our own minds up, and then if we choose to act, then that's up to us. I really do wrestle with this. I mean, I yatter on. I've got all these films up, but basically all I've done is talk. I see it as a sort of rehearsal, in fact, to marshal up my little thoughts, to get the ducks lined up. So as and when the opportunity presents, I am able to drop straight into the heart of a matter and have sufficient knowledge and facts and information and insight to be able to speak about it, and then to speak specifically from the perspective of being a Christian. So in fact, if anything, these films are a training exercise for me. They're largely unviewed, quite frankly. But in the same, I mean, whatever your craft is, you have to practice it. And I see this as my calling to speak as a Christian in the world in which I live on. So I'm not a politician, I'm not a, I don't know, geologist or an anthropologist or whatever, speaking with great knowledge about or such and such a subject. On the subject I have focused upon in my life, God, faith, hope, love, again, I am no expert. I do not wish to be a sort of theological expert. I deliberately avoid sort of overstudying something. I think it does matter to hear that I spoke of injustice earlier on in my films today. I think this is now my 5th film today. Wednesday, the 2nd of June 2021, in my new place in Alnwick in Northumbria, in England, in the northwest corner of England, and injustice and so on. Well, I do believe that hearing that your injustice has been acknowledged, at the very least, monetary recompense, yeah, it might cover a few. I mean, if there's been an injury, an accident, that sort of thing, you know, someone's lost the capacity to work, well, then they work out the figures about how many, possibly even millions. So it's not just I mean, it's a serious matter, all of that. But all the other injustices for which there's no material recompense. And the whole pack of them, the Church of England, the Queen, the Prime Minister, all of them. On the 200th anniversary of the abolition of slavery in England, which was 1807, the actual abolition, so in 2007, they all had a big hoo-ha in London. Well, I don't even know actually if that does much good, quite frankly. How about not doing the bad stuff in the first instance? How could the nice Church of England people not recognise that these human beings who would have been branded and trafficked from Africa to the West Indies, recognise, you know, they were purportedly Christian at the time. So I'm very clear about actually what will happen. God's going to intervene and give the whole world a much bigger shake-up than COVID, this COVID-19. COVID-19 is just a minor foretaste of what's to come. Sorry, there we are, I'm not sorry. I think, thank heavens, at last, I mean, God is, God was, God is, God will be. God is all-powerful. Us little humans are nothing. This little pimple, the earth, is nothing. And yet, every single hair of your fellow man, woman, child is precious and special in God's eyes. So stop the killing. Stop the manufacture and sale of arms, for heaven's sake. My country, Britain, England, British Aerospace. Lock all the politicians up in an aircraft hangar, give them lots of tea and coffee, and don't let them out till they make peace. Genuine peace, which includes not manufacturing and selling arms, for instance. I hope that someone else will do it. Oh, so, right, because evil's going on, that we've got to have our finger in the pie. It's evil. You go along with evil, you become a part of it. To an almost exclusive extent, I am not part of the sort of the great and the good in this world. Yes, here I am. I've got my electric power's back on. I've got a lovely gas fire, etc., etc. I've got all the material benefits of the West laid on, more or less. Doctor, I've got to have a doctor for my pills for my heart for a start. I have a big knee operation. I'm actually going to London tomorrow to the Royal National Orthopaedic Hospital, Stanmore, to start that going. All of which requires Western medicine, technology, and all the rest of it. Public transport. Fresh, clean, running water. I always put at the center of my life the two commandments: love God, love your neighbor as yourself. Well, how am I bringing through the second commandment, my love of God through Christ, to shine in this dark world? Yes, I have my films. At the moment, that seems to be the best I can do. But I want to do so much more. Believe me, I want to do so much more. This is nothing to what I shall do in due course. Amen.